it's Laura from Laura's Handcrafted Treats and Treasures. Welcome to or back to my channel. Okay, so I am a little late comer on the newest kit from Create with Scrimping Mommy, Amanda Charlesworth, but ideas popped into my head the minute I saw this new kit. I will link her information in the description box. She goes through the kit, but it's like a recipe and it's like a vintage feel, and I just loved it immediately. So one thing I have going on is I wanted to make, well, the first idea that popped into my head is underneath, but this popped into my head and it kind of came from this, was my inspiration. And what this is it sits up and then the cover flips, and then it has scripture throughout the year. Okay, so this was sort of my inspiration, and I thought, oh man, wouldn't that be neat in a recipe book with this new kit? So that was sort of the second idea. So we're going to get to that because I've already started it, but I'm not going to go any further until I bring you guys along with me so you can see what I'm doing. But you're sort of seeing the concept here of this coming together. So this little vision of mine is starting to come together. So we're going to set that one aside for now, and we're going to go to the first idea that popped into my head. So here's some of the papers that I'm going to be using. This is, and I'm going to make a journal as well, but these are just some quick, easy ideas. I thought, well, maybe not easy, but anyway, I wanted to do them. So I needed a couple sheets of this. And then these, I don't know, one day I was printing things and I printed what I wanted, and the next day I turned my Wi-Fi on and these came out. So anyway, they will get used, but it is part of the kit because what I was printing was actually these, and I got what I wanted, but then two of them came out on the cardstock. Anyhow, I printed this one as well. This is like maybe a cover idea for a journal, but this also, had I really kind of printed these first, I could have made this as wide and this could have been my front. So that's okay, because who knows, I might do another one. Then I printed all of the little food items because I thought, well, those are going to be incorporated. Some more of the little items here, along with the, yeah, you know, that thing. Good boy, it escapes my head right now. Anyway, so I printed these, and definitely want to use some of these. And then, of course, the cards. Now, I may have to print extra of these to kind of accomplish what I want to accomplish. So here's my thought. So this little plaque I had, and this is what just kept popping into my head. And I thought, oh, wouldn't this be neat to make a little plaque that stands up in your kitchen, and it actually can hold the recipes. And I thought, well, that's neat, because then all of your little things are up underneath of it. And then I thought about using this, but it just comes down too far. I was just gonna put something different in the front. It just came from the Dollar Tree. And then I found one of these, and I thought, oh, that's perfect, because that's gonna sit where I want it, where you'll be able to clip your recipe in there. And then I thought, well, how am I gonna get that to set up? Well, I just took an old Dollar Tree frame, and you know, just the cheap little frames, but this part's still good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually glue this to the back. Now I'm gonna have to do obviously some adjustment down here, because you don't want this coming down over this. It's gonna wobble because of that little point. So I'll have to do some adjustment, but other than that, I can just square it off to where I need it here and then adjust the bottom. So that is how it will stand up. So to get started, I did a little bit of prep, but to get started, I am going to be doing the edges. I don't want those in the raw wood. I'm going to be covering the back too with the same paper, even though it's going to get, most of it's going to get covered up with this part. I still wanted it on the back. So that's why I have two sheets, because it won't fit this way. Not for mine anyway. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm using, it's a Waverly Antique wax, and I use this all the time. It is my go-to for any type of plaques that I want to do. And so all I'm going to do is just go ahead and put some on the edges, and then you just take your paper towel and wipe off any excess, not access. But I don't think I'm going to have to really do that. I mean, I will wipe it down, and I'm not going to worry about these edges because I am going to be going around with the paper. So I'm going to get that done. And then once that is done and dried, I'm going to come back and I'm going to actually take my Mod Podge and I'm going to Mod Podge over this whole thing. Oh, I also filled in the holes. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but it made me feel better. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to Mod Podge over the whole thing, and I've done this before. This is a game changer to Mod Podging. You can do this with any material. And I'm going to let that Mod Podge dry, and then I'm going to come in with my paper, and then I'm going to get my heat press, my little mini heat press, which I absolutely love. I'll put parchment paper over, and then I'll reinstitute that Mod Podge to get that paper to stick. I'll come back for that part. So as soon as I get this done, we'll move along. Okay, so here we are. I have done my edges, and I have Mod Podged each side. I just used my heat gun to dry that quick. And I do have my paper cut out. Now it fits great this way. I'm just going to double check that. But you don't have enough for one sheet to do both if you're using this size. Now I'm sure you can cut down a board or find a different size. Okay, so I have my heat press. My little mini heat press is ready to go. I have it on the second setting. And this is the most important part. You have to use your parchment paper, because once that glue starts to constitute, or however they say it, it's going to get this sticky. So I literally just lay it on there. I kind of press at first. I don't really roll it around a whole lot. I'm just lifting and pressing. And then I just start kind of really kind of moving it around, making sure I'm getting all the edges. Okay. And that's pretty good. It's down there. But I'm just going to do a little bit more. Just to be sure. Okay, so looks like I have it on there pretty good. I might have to touch up some edges, which is fine. But that's what you want to do. You kind of want to go around and just see if there's any edges that still need to be glued down. And see, I got that one. I'm out of frame. So I'm just kind of taking my nail and seeing if I can lift. So I can't. All right, so that looks good. So before I put the back piece on, what I'm going to do, and hopefully this works, I'm going to trim this off. And then I think for the edges, I'm just going to take my sandpaper, and this is, I guess, 80. Is that what that means? 80 grit. And I'm going to just start going around the edges until that paper starts to release. And you can see it's coming undone. See how it's pulling away from the edge now? So I'm going to go ahead and get all of that done. Okay, so I have that done. Looking good already. The vision is starting to come together. Now, just keep in mind, when you're scraping, just continue to scrape straight down. You might have to do this a little bit, but you don't want to tear the paper in. Just be patient and keep scraping all the way around. So it does leave a little bit of a rough edge, and it may have taken a little bit of my original stain off, but I'm not worried about that because now I'm going to take my vintage photo. I think I have an espresso too. I could do a darker one, but I think this is going to work just fine. And then I'm just going to go around the edges, and then that's also going to maybe take care of, you know, the little bits that I might have scraped off in the stain, but I think the stain looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and ink all the way around, and then I'm gonna do the other side. Okay, it's coming together. All right, so that is done. Now again, I'm gonna go ahead and put my paper on that I have here, and I'm going to trim these edges off because knowing me, I'll get the white in there. Maybe not. Let me put it up to the window. Yeah, I think I can do it without boo-booing. I mean, I got this whole piece of paper. Also, I will mention that I normally print on a 24 to 28 weight for my digitals for when I'm making a book. I like the 28. I'm starting to like that a little bit more because for binding and stuff, it's a little stronger. But this right here is literally like a 20-pound copy paper. I keep that on hand because I like that for coffee dyeing. So again, I'm just going to go ahead, put my parchment paper on, and I'm just going to repeat the steps that I just did. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and then when I come back, I will have, again, I'm going to put another layer of Mod Podge over this to seal it. Same thing for the back side. And then at that point, this is going to be laid in like this. I'm going to figure out where this best lays, that it's not covering. I want it to look like it's holding the kitchen, you know, where it says that, like this sign, but it's not actually, because this is where you're going to want to put your recipe. So I'm going to go get that done and I'll be back. Okay, so I am back. I'm going to try to explain what I had lost in my footage. So I had explained how I put the paper on the back, but then I go over it again with Mod Podge, and it starts to bubble up. But it's no big deal. You just take your parchment paper, you take your heat press, which mine's turned off now, and you just start to work the bubbles out, and then I kind of press it, and I don't press super hard. I just kind of go over and I start to smooth the bubbles out. So once the bubbles are all out, and you can see they all come out, and it also, the Mod Podge makes this brighter. The dull, I mean, you can print it brighter. I could print it brighter, but the Mod Podge seems to, you know, brighten up that paper. So then I went ahead and I did all of my inking around the edges. I also Mod Podged around the edges. And then I went ahead and then I did the same process to put my little kitchen conversions sheet on there. Once I did that, again, I took and it, you know, got it all dried and got it all wrinkled out. or pressed on there, I put Mod Podge on again. It started to bubble. I dried it, put my parchment paper over top, used my little machine, and smoothed it out. So here we go. In that video, I also explained how that I had cut this down. I also cut this to the shape of this. So when I get ready to put this on, it's going to set up just nicely. So what I did was I made the shape, and then I took my Sharpie and then, you know, colored all that in just to make it look nicer. I did put a piece of cardstock paper over top of this because it had that little spot in there that I didn't like. You see a difference in the shading here because I actually Mod Podged all around the edges where it was, you know, sort of coming up. I could go back and do the whole thing, but I'm not going to. Who's going to really look at the back? Then what I'll do is I will glue that on. I will probably use E6000 to get that to adhere very well, but I love how it came out. I also went ahead and put, and I'm not going to push on this because I actually did use E6000 on this, but I did it just a little while ago, and I want to let that at least set overnight just so I know it's not going to move. Now I'm going to go in and do some of the fussy cuts. I'm going to get some of those and maybe put some around here, and then I'm going to do some of the recipe cards so that you know, they can just be in there, and you can just keep a few at a time. I mean, any recipe card will do. You don't have to use the ones that came from a kit, but I'm just loving how this is turning out. I had thought about on the back, before I was going to do this, I had thought about making a little envelope that all your recipes could get tucked into, and then putting this just on a stand, on a picture frame stand. But because it doesn't set nicely, I suppose if you get the right one, it would. I went with this, I'm going to break that yet, with this option instead. All right, so I'm going to finish everything up. I'm going to do some embellishments, and when I come back, it'll be the final reveal. I'll be back. Okay, here it is. It is done. So I love how this came out. I'll put a couple pictures in of showing this upright, but I put a couple of the little recipe cards there, and then I just added a few of the ephemera embellishments. Now I did go ahead and Mod Podge over all of this, and I also Mod Podged all of my little elements as well after I got them inked. I love how this came out. It's so fun. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier because, you know, now it's the next day. I got this, I believe, from Dollar Tree. But yeah, I just love how it came out. And, you know, I thought even if somebody just wanted to put a picture, you know, you could put a picture of you and your mom or grandma in the kitchen, and then this could just sit up on your counter. Super cute. I love it. I'm going to put all the links in the description box, and I hope you found this enjoyable. Thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye.